Lesson 77, Inequalities with negative coefficients. The inequalities are the statements that use less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or the greater than or equal to sign. Also, the does not equal sign. Okay? Those are inequalities. They do not have the equal sign. So we don't use the equal sign. The coefficient, this is a reminder, the coefficient is the number in front of a variable. So it's the number in front. So here's an example. 7x plus 4. We find the variable, which is x. The number in front of it is 7. So 7 is the coefficient. Here's another example. Y minus 3. The variable is y. The number in front of it we can't see, but that number is 1. So 1 is the coefficient in this example. You solve inequalities just like they were equations. So just the same way as if there were an equal sign. Except there's one exception. When you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must reverse or flip the inequality sign. It's very, very important when you're solving inequalities. We haven't had to do this yet, so this is kind of a new thing. So here's kind of a why we have to do it. You all know that 2 is less than 3. What if I were to multiply both of those by negative 1? Is negative 2 still less than negative 3? It's not. Negative 2 is greater than negative 3. So we multiply by a negative. We have to flip the sign to show that we're now in the negatives. So here's an example where we might use this. Let's say this is the problem we're given. Negative 5 times x minus 3 is greater than 5 times x minus 3. We're going to solve for x. So we use the distributive property. We have to take our negative 5, times it by x, and we have to take our negative 5 and times it by 3. Same over here. So we have to put 5 in front of the x, and then we have to multiply 5 and 3. So we'll simplify. Negative 5x, negative 5 times 3 is a positive 15, is greater than 5x minus 15. So let's get all of our x's over here and all the numbers over here. So we're going to subtract 15, and we get negative 5x is greater than 5x minus 30. Then we're going to subtract 5x. Negative 5x minus 5x is negative 10x, is greater than negative 30. We're going to divide by a negative 10, but we have to remember to flip our inequality sign. So this is going to be less than. So x has to be less than 3. So we had to remember to flip the sign. Because we divided by a negative 10. Okay. Let's say we had to graph this x is less than 3. So we're going to graph it. We come to the 3. Because it's less than, we're going to have an open circle. And we find a number that would fit inside of here. We could put 0 here and this would fit, so we're going to draw our arrow towards 0, make a really dark arrow. There we go. Graph. I want to do one more example where we have to divide or multiply by a negative number. So example 2. Negative 2x is less than 10. Minus 10 is greater than or equal to 8. So we're going to solve just like we had an equal sign. We'll add 10. We get negative 2x is greater than or equal to 18. Now we have to divide by a negative number. And then we got to flip the sign. So it's going to be less than or equal to. So x is less than or equal to negative 9. So we had to remember to flip the sign. Let's say we're going to graph x is less than or equal to negative 9. We're going to do a closed circle on negative 9, and we find some numbers that are less than negative 9, which goes to the left. So we come over here and draw our arrow to the left. So before we can graph, we have to solve for x. X needs to be isolated on the left side, and then we can graph. Okay, that's the end of the lesson.